Hi everyone, my name is Farooq Rashid and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'll be basically talking about class 12 students who are having their board practicals at this particular point. And I can understand that you might be thinking that what are the teachers or the external examiners going to ask you in your Viva? How are they going to evaluate your projects and will you be able to answer? And if you're not able to answer, will they cut your marks? Don't worry, you will understand by the end of this video what basically will happen in the board practicals. So I'll keep this video relevant to me. I had 5 subjects: English, Maths, Physics, Chemistry, and then Computer Science. So for if you have other subjects like an additional language, then I will not be able to tell you more about that. So specific to computer science, I'll tell you related to that. So but first, let's understand that what are practicals actually. Practicals take place just to give you extra marks, like those 30 marks. Teachers won't cut your marks unless you are giving a very bad practical or viva. You're not able to answer any one of the question also. Only in that case your marks would be deducted. But otherwise, if you give medium or best performance, in both the cases you will get good marks. So don't worry about practicals. Be confident. So I'll tell you my experience. We had a small classroom. It was basically staff room, and it was a kind of interview. We had a table in the center. Once on the other side, they used to sit a teacher or the external examiner, and in front of her, we were sitting like one student at a time. So basically, it was more of like an interview. So one student used to go in, and she would check our project, and then would ask us questions related to the project we had prepared. So you need to be confident, like be presentable. First thing, don't go and directly sit out wishing the examiner. Stand there, wish her good morning, good afternoon, or whatever. And then when he or she tells you that take a seat, then only you are going to sit there. Once this is done, be relaxed. Like don't show your nervousness on your face. You need to be relaxed. Take long breaths and just stay calm. Then she'll look after your project and she'll ask you one or two questions. As far as I remember, for mathematics, I had maxima minima topic. So she asked me like, what is the condition for maxima? So it is double derivative less than 0. Then she'll ask you condition for increasing, decreasing functions. Very simple and basic questions, like not something which is very tough. But in rare of the rarest cases, they might ask you something which is outside of your project. Like basically, if you have prepared your project on maxima minima, they might ask you about matrices and determinants. That is very rare. But if that also happens, I'm very sure, like 99% times, they ask you very basic questions. Like either they'll ask you what is the condition for multiplication of two matrices, then or they can ask you that multiply this matrices in front of us. They'll give you pen and paper to do so. Don't worry for that. It is not that tough. Then for English, it is again very easy. Basically, you understand what matters is how you give your answers, the way you can communicate, the way you are respectful, and you are confident also. It is not about how much you know, because ultimately that they're going to see in the exams itself. So this is not the main motive. It is just to see your presence of mind and your confidence. And one more thing, you can use this as a trick. Like if other students are having their turn before you, do not forget to ask each student what the teachers ask them. This is really very helpful because the questions will not be very different. They'll repeat the same questions. If they're asking the first student some question, maybe the third student or the fifth student or any other student will be asked the same question, then the probability is very high. So what we used to do, whenever a student had their turn, like they used to come out of the staff room and we used to surround them and ask them what questions the teacher asked you. And most of the cases, it was a repetitive question, nothing very new. Then comes computer. And computer, I know, for those students who are already doing computer, it is not like other Vivas. We are going to get free marks. It is actually about your concepts. They're going to give you a question paper. You're going to choose one question of the program. And those questions at our time were not easy. Like they were really very tricky questions, or you can say not basic, but a good level of questions. So you have to prepare for computer very nicely from beforehand. You cannot say that I'll see what happens over there. No, Don't do this for computer, because I've seen many students do not score marks just by doing this. So in computer, what they'll do, they'll give you a question like, as far as I remember, at our time there was a question of date. Like, if you add, what is the date at the 365th day of the year? So it is going to be 31st December. Then in case if it is a leap year, then you have to evaluate accordingly. So it was a very tough question. But what are they going to ask you in this? They're going to give you certain outputs. You have to write your entire program. And after that, you have to print that program on the printer. They'll give you certain outputs, like perform this output. You have to take the printout of that correct output also that you are going to generate through your code. Then you are going to attach that code, that printout, and your written program, all three together. And then that will be considered as your submission for the computer practical. Moreover, you have to prepare your computer file also, in which you're going to add so many programs and other things that you have prepared basically over the last time. But one advice, don't take computer lightly, prepare it nicely. It is not easy, okay? Then for physics, definitely it is not Viva, it is board practical that happens in lab, and same goes for chemistry as well. So for physics, I think most of the schools teacher would tell you like, this is the probability, this is the question which has more probability of being asked. Same for chemistry. So don't worry. What your teachers are telling you, focus on that. And see, some students are there who say, I won't believe teacher. Maybe he is telling like that only. I will prepare everything. Such student is a total fool who is going to waste his time. Don't do like that. If teacher is telling you prepare this, because they know ultimately, and it is easy. Like, you have to learn the practical, you have to write down. Then observations also, most of the cases students learn the observations. If your teacher has told you to learn it, then learn it. If not, they have strictly told you have to perform the experiment and then write the observations, then don't go against. But in most of the cases, what I've seen, that students definitely learn the observations and they don't take an extra step to like perform the experiment over there, right? So for chemistry, it was again very easy. It was nothing very tough. You had learned you have to learn the experiments beforehand, and we have also learned at that time. Then after that, the teacher will take a vibe also. They'll call you, they'll ask you some questions. At our time, it was very easy. It was not something like, many students were not able to answer the questions also, and still teachers are like, you haven't studied, but they were giving marks like nothing to matter, of course. But for the physics practical, we thought that the same thing would happen, but in our physics practical, it was totally different. A very strict teacher came and she was asking questions in a very confusing way. Like, if we are giving the answer, she would be like, are you sure? I don't think this is the answer. And we all were really scared. So in such cases, be confident. And ultimately, if you get such teacher also, no marks of yours will be deducted. You would still get good marks. Don't get scared. Be respectful and be humble to the external examiner. Don't argue or question them like what they are doing or how can you say I'm wrong. Don't do like this, because ultimately if you do like this, no one can save you from getting marks. Be respectful. This is the advice. And at last, if you have seen my video till this point, don't worry, the practicals are very easy. You will get marks, you won't lose marks. Be confident and be presentable, like dress smartly. You should not look like a lazy student who has not combed her hair and has come like that only. Don't do like that. Be confident, and all the very best for your practicals. Hope you find this video informative. If you do, hit the like button and subscribe for more such videos. Thank you and bye.